Hey, what up, y'all? This is what I think about when I see Cheyenne Bryant.
Love me like this. Do not love me like that. Literally and figuratively. Love me
Dang,
like
dog,
this.
Man, y'all
You
see,
got to love me up close.
man, Doc on demon time.
Call demon time. See, this is what this dark
You see
do.
what happened?
This is what the dark
It
do.
didn't take long. Dang.
Love me up close. But but I want you to finish your question because healthy people know how to love.
Okay.
Healthy people don't have to love you at a distance
Okay.
because a distance means that I'm putting barriers in front of us.
Yes. Yes.
So if I am not afraid of love, then why am I not loving all the way like this? Why am I not loving like this? Why am I not loving like this? Why is it that I'm putting stipulations or barriers or limitations on how I love you? I was made from love. My parents loved the shit out of me. My mom still treats me like I'm 4. My dad still opened my door at the age of 38 when he would
Right.
take me to dinner.
Right.
So I am a love bug. So I don't need you to love me from a distance because you are starving me of the love that we could both be having if you didn't have issues with love. Because when you think of love, Shannon, you think of love as limitations.
No, it's limitless.
So then why is there a amount on how many calls or texts I can give or get from you a day? Why is it that, too much time is too much time to be spent if we really love and like each other?
Right.
How come I can't just miss you while I'm in your presence? How come I can't just had made love to you, laid up under you, and want to lean over and still smell you again? What is wrong with that?
Nothing.
How come I can't make love to you, been with you for 4 days straight, we done made love 4 or 5 times already, and then say, Daddy, I miss you?
Really?
That's not obsessive. That's healthy love.
That happened in today's time?
That's how I love shit. It's healthy love. And that's why I can't just be giving my loving to anybody because
You have that kind of personality.
I'm a
don't you?
gallon. There's
And you
people
pour-
who are pints.
Okay.
Gallons have to be careful of pints, and pints have to be careful. No one's better. It's just different bandwidth.
Right.
My love is this. So if a pint pours everything they have into me, how much is left?
You still got room.
If I pour everything into them, system overload.
Whoa.
They cannot facilitate me. This is why I said we have to find conduciveness. We have to find people who are what? Bandwidth, capacity driven. We got to stop looking at this dude got a contract for $100 million so that contract could pay these bills. But then after you get these kids and you see that the trainer that you've been training with, who possibly can't pay all the bills, has the bandwidth. I'm not saying be with the trainer. What I'm saying is you got to find the in-between where it's conducive for you.
Okay.
Because people are too driven in things that don't sustain them. And then they end up making decisions that have them doing time because they didn't take their time. That's a problem.
That's code Shannon to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. There's some whores in this house. 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 There's There's some hoes in this house. 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 There's some hoes in this house.
Tell me why you keep cutting them off.
The first one I cut off because although my father was a street dude who made a lot of money in the streets, and so I was always well spoiled financially, he didn't raise me to look for a man for money.
Yes.
Right? Street term. He didn't raise me to be a gold digger.
Yeah.
He raised me to find a man of good character, to find a man who looked, smelled nothing like him. Right? And so I found a man of good character who was faithful, who was loving the boy next door. He was an athlete. He just was a good man.
Yes.
But he had no work ethic. And so as I'm in this relationship trying to navigate, I would call my father constantly and say, although I'm not denying him of my body, right? Although I'm trying my best to still show up in my best form, it's causing an internal struggle because I'm winning the bread and yeah, he's domesticated, but this is not the role that feels natural for me.
Yeah.
I don't like it. And my father kept saying, but he's a good man, baby. He's a good man. This man is faithful. This man is loving. But this is coming from a father who was a great father, Pastor Bryant, but a womanizer.
I read a study that say the more educated a woman is, the freakier she is.
Facts.
I read that.
Facts.
I read that in Cosmo.
The facts.
I showed it.
Shout out to Cosmo. Shout out to Cosmo.
Yeah,
Cheers, Cosmo.
Huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How many degrees you say you got?
6.
Oh,
Doctor, 6.
Gee.
In this house, there's some hoes in this house, there's some hoes in this house, there's some hoes in this house.
Y'all on this one.
I have a question and I'm looking for a logical answer. So if you have one, please let me know because I can't seem to find one. When I have a medical crisis, I want to make sure that I am doing research, that I am finding out the credentials of the top medical professionals in their field, in their space, those who have practiced for several years, those who went to top schools, who graduated top of their class, who have accolades, who have proven their record. When there is a legal issue, I don't just want to find some new grad out of any Tom, Dick, and Harry law school. I'm looking for an actual proven lawyer, someone who has a great record, someone who went to a great school. That's why those things matter. That's why you work so hard to get into these schools, because of the credentials, because of the validity it offers to what it is that you say you do, to your expertise, if you will. Given all of that, and I have to believe that most people fall in line with that belief that you should look at credentials and have a proven record when trusting someone with something so important like your health or legal issues. I'm just wondering why women are so okay with accepting advice from other women who have not had a successful relationship, women who have failed relationships, women who can get an engagement but can't get down the aisle, for women who like to talk the talk but don't actually walk the walk. Why would you be okay with taking any advice from women just because they're really good at tearing down men, but don't actually have any understanding of what it takes to get a good man? And we know that because you're not practicing what you preach, right? I'm just wondering why it is that women are so profoundly applauding Dr. Cheyyanne Bryant. If she's an actual doctor, I have yet to see any credentials, and maybe they exist and I haven't seen them, and that's fine. But as far as I can tell, her personal track record is enough to say you probably want to take a couple seats
and listen to someone who's done what they need to do to get to where you want to be? Because she herself has said she has had 4 attempts to get down the aisle and has not actually made it down the aisle, much less maintained a long-lasting, meaningful, healthy relationship. So why are you giving any clout to anything that she's saying? Is it just because tearing down a man makes you feel good? That's not going to get you what you want.
Offset was in your DM. Have you revealed anybody else that's ever been in your DM? You put anybody on
I
blast?
love that you said that. Offset was in my DM, and he just posed a question that said, hey, you know, maybe you can help me with something. He didn't say what it was.
Right.
That's all he said.
Right.
And because he never followed through,
Right.
I never followed through. We never did a session. He
Right.
was never my client.
Right.
When I shared that on Jason Lee's show, that was not a
Like he was trying to slide.
It was not a breach of confidentiality, first
Right.
of all, because he was not and is not my client.
Right.
So it was no breach.
I'm about to tear this video apart. Hello, my name is Dr. Raquel Martin. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, professor, scientist, and podcast host. And if you're here, you're here to learn. So let's talk about why this video is a problem. Here's the thing. She didn't do anything wrong when it comes to being a psychology expert. I think the confusion is the thought process that she did something wrong as a psychologist, but she's not a psychologist. I don't know. Let's do it again. Dr. Cheyyanne Bryant is not and has never been a licensed psychologist. That's not shade. That's simply the truth. No one can be offended by that. Now, I do want to be fair. Getting a degree, even from a school with a messy history, does not automatically make someone harmful. This person chose to be harmful. It wasn't because of argosy. But being licensed means something very specific. And this is what I want y'all to understand. It means you do not have a governing board. You do not have enforceable ethical standards. Now, you should have morals, but that is beside the point. You do not have to have accountability procedures. There's no license to suspend. There's no oversight. There's no state level protection for the public. Unlicensed individuals can do whatever the freak they want. And that's the exact problem, right? Because when you start to use psychological language, wearing the title, offering commentary about mental health, framing yourself as an authority, which you're not, but you are not bound to the same ethics code or confidentiality standards or disciplinary procedures as actual clinicians, you can and have caused real harm without any consequences. Now, actual licensed psychologists have a duty to protect the public. We can lose our licenses for misusing someone's information. We can be disciplined for misrepresentation. We are held to standards for a reason. She isn't. So when she sits on a massively viewed podcast and mentions a celebrity casually reaching out via DM with no consent, no clinical context, she's not going to lose anything. But look who does. Black men, Black viewers, people who already don't trust therapy, people who are already fearful and fear vulnerability, people who already battle with silence. They lose trust, they lose safety, they lose another ounce of courage to seek help. You don't get to say, he did the right thing, he reached out, and then model the exact behavior that makes people scared to reach out in the first place. And let me show you what I mean, because the impact is right here in the comments. Do you know how heartbreaking it is, as someone who actually works with Black men, to see this? To watch a video on one of the biggest platforms out there with a Black man standing right there, not doing anything about it, to be turned into more evidence for them that exposure, openness equals exposure. These comments are a real-time demonstration of harm, and licensed individuals like myself, who's actually out here doing the work and not just making videos about work you have never done, will actually have to clean up the mess. And when you are a Black man, your silence is never going to be neutral. It's deadly. It shows up in heart disease and substance use and incarceration and unaliving yourself. So no, I don't care that she keeps repeating, technically, he was not my client. I care that the impact is men feeling more unsafe. This is what happens when content comes before care, when the goal is to go viral. Here's the big thing. I want you to hold people accountable. Don't let this be the final word on what mental health or therapy looks like, because this was not mental health or therapy. There are providers out there doing the work every single day with integrity. I have a problem with this video because I'm so tired of Black men being used as examples while we ignore how fragile their access to support already is. If you're already committed to Black men's mental health, which this person has exhibited time and time again that they're not, you don't turn their attempts at reaching out into talking points. You protect them even when the camera isn't rolling. And speaking of the camera, you know what? Before I close out, I actually want to speak directly to Shannon Sharpe. This part is for you. As a Black man with one of the largest media platforms, what did you think you were doing here? I actually want you to look at the comments on your own post. I want you to sit with them, because the damage didn't come from a technicality. The damage didn't come from a licensing debate. The damage came from the message that you amplified on your show. Your platform. You platform someone who is not a licensed mental health professional, who has no regulatory board, who regularly uses clickbait to build notoriety. And I know it looks good on camera because the clothes are so tight you can see her spleen. Let's focus on the fact that you let her speak on Black men's mental health as if she represents the field. For what? Well, for content and for views and a viral moment. But like, truly, was it worth it? Because what she said didn't just harm the internet. It harmed your community. Black men are your community, correct? The very men you speak to, the very men who trust you, the very men who come to your platform, because mainstream media has never protected them. Look at the comments. You are someone, Shannon Sharpe, who talks often and openly about the importance of mental health for athletes, for Black men, for yourself. You understand how sensitive these conversations are. You understand how sacred Black men, how scared Black men are, how it's a sacred community, and they're already struggling to be vulnerable. So like, I really want to know, was it worth it? Was it worth the short-term views to create long-term harm? Because that's what you did. Was it worth platforming someone whose work is not even work? It's not grounded in any ethics or training. Was it worth adding another barrier between Black men and their ability to seek help? You know the responsibility that comes with having millions of eyes on you. So when you hand that microphone to someone who treats private moments like clickbait, that is not simply a guest choice. You made a statement. And I want you to sit with that, because the next time a Black man thinks about reaching out for support and he hesitates because he's afraid someone will put him on camera or clout, you don't get to say mental health matters. You don't. Not if you're contributing to the silence. Not if you're giving a platform to the very behaviors that keep Black men suffering in private and impacts the entire Black community, he, she, and they. So look at the comments. Look at how your community responded. Look at the fear, the distrust, the disappointment. And ask yourself honestly, was it worth it? And the reason why I get so significantly upset about this is because as a doctor who creates content, I'm actually doing the work. I will see the ripple of the impact of this conversation every single time I see a client. Black man, Black woman, a non-binary Black folk, he, she, and they. I will see the impact of this when I am teaching your students. I will see the impact of this when I'm training clinicians. I will. That's why I take it so seriously, because I'm actually out here doing the work. I'm actually out here doing the work. Stop letting them play in our face just because they look like us. I specialize in Black health and well-being. I do this, and I want to let you know that it impacts every single thing. And I know this was a longer one than normal. I know they always tell me that no one has an attention span longer than 3 minutes. So if you did stay to the end of this video, thank you. I appreciate you. And just to make sure that the video gets pushed a little bit and I can actually know that you watched the end of this video, tell me, hands down, the best dessert that has ever existed in this world. In this world. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Please realize that your voice matters. And it's important to let other people know that too. And here's the thing, you know how big your influence is. You know the responsibility that comes with having millions of eyes on you. So when you hand that microphone to someone who treats private moments like clickbait, that is not simply a guest choice. You made a statement. And I want you to sit with that, because the next time a Black man thinks about reaching out for support and he hesitates because he's afraid someone will put him on camera or clout, you don't get to say mental health matters. You don't. Not if you're contributing to the silence. Not if you're giving a platform to the very behaviors that keep Black men suffering in private and impacts the entire Black community, he, she, and they. So look at the comments. Look at how your community responded. Look at the fear, the distrust, the disappointment. And ask yourself honestly, was it worth it? And also to the audience, well, I know they always tell me that no one has an attention span longer than 3 minutes. So if you did stay to the end of this video, thank you. I appreciate you. And just to make sure that the video gets pushed a little bit and I can actually know that you watched the end of this video, tell me, hands down, the best dessert that has ever existed in this world. In this world. And I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Stepping in Balenciagas if you like that. Pop another bottle if you like that. There's some hoes in this house.